Cannabis.
Sativa.
Dope.
Indica.
Weed.
Leaf.
This is Leaf Life.
All things cannabis for all people.
Now, here are your hosts, Ricker and the Bearded Lorax.
We publish a magazine called The Leaf that is available in print in 13 states at your local cannabis retailer and also available online at leafmagazines.com. My name is Mike Ricker, and I'm your host of Leaf Life with my co-host Wes Abney, also known as the Bearded Lorax.
I speak for the trees.
And of course, there's Stashley.
The token female.
And Mary J. White.
The smoking female.
Welcome to the second half of this Leaf Life show called Meditation and Cannabis. In just a moment, we'll go bigger into how using cannabis with meditation can help take your buzz to new heights. And we'll spin Stash's wheel to see what products Melanie's going to be hitting next. This show's Greg the Guinea Pig. But first, it's time for Not For Nothing.
Well, not for nothing. I couldn't help but thinking. Not for nothing.
Mary J. White, this has nothing to do with cannabis.
Nope.
Which is not a bad thing. I mean, we all live normal lives. We're not, we don't use cannabis 100% of our day.
No, not 100%.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point, Wes. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I have to tell you this amazing story, and anyone with sperm is going to be real excited. That would be you guys.
Oh, that'll be us.
All right.
And White Zombie and MDG.
That's right.
Behind the scenes.
That's right.
All our male listeners.
Yeah.
You guys still have sperm, right? Oh, cool.
Oh, cool. Okay. So
That is awkward.
Weird.
officials with the James Dyson Award, which celebrates, encourages, and inspires designers for new problem-solving ideas. Okay, they have given their prize to Rebecca Weiss. Now, Rebecca hails from Germany, and she has designed the COSO, I'm going to call it the COSO, male birth control device.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Finally.
Hallelujah.
Will it make me put on 10 pounds of water weight?
No. And it
Wait,
won't.
will I be moody?
No, it won't do I feel bloated? No.
Will I get spots?
You won't get any spots. What's going to happen, though, is your balls are going to be taking a bath, okay?
Gulp.
Yes. COSO, the COSO, uses an ultrasound testicle bath to temporarily stop your swimmers from swimming, okay? Wow. You only have to use it every few months, but what it does is it keeps your sperms inert.
Does it get them stoned?
No, they're not stoned. They're just sleeping.
But is there long-term effects? Like, do they come out slow?
Well,
you can have a slow kid.
Well, I don't think those correlate. I mean, I think if your sperm are swimming slowly, doesn't mean you're going to have a slow
But if they go
child.
inert.
I think the X and Y chromosomes still stay the same.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Stash.
Yeah. It just, they're so slow, they're not swimming, so obviously your eggs don't get fertilized, right?
Fair enough.
And I imagine that if you want to get somebody fertile, you just quit dunking them in the testicle bath.
Well,
Gotcha.
one would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right.
I think she should have called it the Sperminator.
Go easy.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's my new story. Not for nothing.
Not for
Not
nothing.
for nothing.
For nothing.
All right, Stash, spin that wheel and see what Mel's going to be hitting next. Whee! She's got the Stash reel and
I have another dab saucer.
Yes.
From Green Rush.
Perfect.
This is their hammer time.
Oh, I love that strain.
please, Hammer, don't hurt him. No. Please, Hammer, don't hurt him. Okay, do it. Mary, I would love to see Wes do the hammer dance.
I
do the
love some
hammer dance
parachute
real well.
pants.
Let's
Whoa.
oh God.
You do the hammer dance?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Do you have parachute
I have 5
pants?
siblings. We had to entertain each other. Of course, I know how to do the hammer dance.
fair. So you can do the
I just
hammer
won't wear
dance.
those pants. Puddin' pants.
Yeah. what were they called?
I call them puddin' pants.
Puddin' pants.
That's
Why?
why it looks
'Cause
like you're having a hammer pants?
A bunch of pudding in your crotch.
Wes is wearing a pair right now.
I like the way you say pudding, Stash. Pudding.
Pants.
Pudding.
Ooh, that smells good.
It's hammer time.
Yeah.
I once knew a woman named Puddin'.
Does this strain make you dance like MC Hammer?
Legit name.
I could do it at any time.
Your knees just start doing this.
Right? He had it wired. How's it taste? It tastes like
It's good.
Bubble gum? Didn't you say it smelled like
It
bubble?
smelled like bubble gum. You gotta take it out and pass it around now.
Is that bubble gum or bubble yum?
Love me some Green Rush.
I hear
Yeah,
that.
nice job.
Far out.
That.
All right, you open that dab saucer and get you a little whiff there, Wesley. And
Sniffy
let's
sniff.
talk about taking your buzz to a new level. Obviously, using cannabis and meditation. Now, I use cannabis for a lot of things. Meditation, I have not tried yet because I think that it would make your mind wander, right? But then, of course, it depends on the strain that you use.
Yeah, and it also depends too on the way that you meditate. I would imagine.
Truth, Stash.
I follow this awesome, hilarious, spiritual influencer and comedian called Jasmine's Garden, I believe, on Instagram. And she is all about weed and all about meditating. And I think it really depends on what you're doing. If you're trying to completely shut down the brain, I like indicas, but that's me.
Yeah.
If you're trying to just organize your thoughts, because we were talking about all the different types of meditation, that's a whole nother genre. You can smoke a sativa and, write that down, or actually concentrate on the things that keep popping up in your head and why they keep popping up there, organize that more.
Mm-hmm. Wes, we should have called this segment Medication and Meditation.
Yes, you should.
Meditated.
Yeah.
Gotta get all the voices in my head stoned.
Well, yeah. And then they can all be saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Melanie, you mentioned Michael Beckwith gave up cannabis. Does he still believe that there is a higher consciousness by using cannabis, or at least maybe a lower consciousness of, maybe that's the wrong word, consciousness, but awareness or slowing down with cannabis?
I won't speak for him, but I can speak for myself.
Fair.
I think that when you go into any sort of mindfulness practice, so that could be called meditation or hiking or writing or painting or whatever it is, you go into that with an intention. And so we're not going to get anything, remember. But like I say, I can have an intention to be really open on this hike and to feel some sort of connection with nature. I have the intention to just give myself permission to just be still for 5 minutes. So intention-based meditation, intention-based any mindfulness practices can be facilitated by cannabis for sure. And obviously I've done it with and without. But I find that when I go into it, I like a hybrid when I meditate. Because I'm okay. I'm comfortable with the thoughts because I just look at them like clouds.
Yep.
And sometimes it's called witness consciousness. Oh. And so when you're in a really deep meditation, which is unreal, you're able to really come outside of yourself and witness the thoughts you're having. That's trippy in itself.
That's cool.
Because there's more to us than just this vehicle than we're traveling in.
I experienced a little bit of that when I was in a flotation tank, floating. It almost got psychedelic to an extent, and I was sober, not high. Wes and I went and tried it out.
I was very high.
We did a sensory deprivation.
So much fun.
Yeah, but
do nothing for an hour. Float.
We should do more of that, Wes. Not together. But.
I'm down.
We had our own pods. Yeah. Well, and some people take psychedelics too. I was going to ask, what's your stance on psychedelics and meditation? Do you think it can be transcendental or kind of a distraction, or maybe both?
Again, what's your intention? Is my intention to get fucked up and run away from my feelings, or is my intention to be with myself and have an experience?
Fair.
And you're a perfect example of that, of like running away from your feelings. Like you mentioned, you'd been, running away from yourself for years. And now here, you're someone with all of this context in life and not necessarily all wonderful and beautiful and pretty. There were a lot of struggles. And your whole directive with your practice now is being the real you and where you came from, and saying, hey, I can be a former stripper in high heels and still be a spiritual guidance counselor.
Which I am.
Correct.
Yeah, I've been in drug treatment. I've been in 12-step programs. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. I was the quintessential daddy issue girl that did really well at stripping. And, I did all that stuff, and I was an actress. And so, but I've put myself in a lot of situations where drugs and alcohol were the perfect escape for me not facing myself.
Yeah.
And I caused a lot of damage, not only for myself, but for those that were in my life at the time. Sorry, Mikey, you were part of that for a second. because Mike and I were together for 3 years in the early 2000s. And he was actually one of the catalysts in my life at that time that basically said, look, I can't live with a drug addict.
Oh,
You either have to go back to Florida or you need to get sober. And so I got sober. And that is what led me to meditation.
Nice. Good job,
Because
Mike.
it cleared the filters of everything that I'd been running from.
Right.
You know, we all have our own baggage. It just comes in different brands and colors.
Yep.
And there's that part of us that wants to heal, but we're not taught how to do that.
Right.
We're not taught how to be with ourselves and be with the pain. And so through meditation and through just, it's like, I call it the God crumbs, you know, you can call them spirit crumbs, whatever it is. But every seemingly bad thing that happened in my life led me to who and where I am now.
Yep.
And that is a state of awareness that I achieved through meditation. And depending on my intention is whether or not I use cannabis with it. I don't really need to, but if I want to have a deeper, more vast healing experience, I use cannabis.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I like this.
But that's also giving myself permission
Yeah.
to feel whatever comes up, because human beings want to run from pain. We don't want to hurt.
Yeah.
But that's where the nugget is. There's that poem by Rumi that says the wound is where the light enters you.
Yeah.
And so when you choose to open and expand more and really be with yourself with just the intention of connection, you are given many gifts. The answers show up.
And it's about being real with
It's
yourself.
about just being present.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important about the breath, right? Because when you focus on your breath, you have no choice, but it brings you back to this exact moment, the now. So that's why they always have you focus on your breath.
Another good thing about breath, if you are ADHD and you have to be saying something in your head, just inhale, exhale, in, out, count. A lot of people count,
that helps.
It's weird, but like counting sheep helps you focus on one certain thing that's repetitive and just clear out everything else.
I feel
I
better
agree with
already.
that. I mean, if the only word that I'd like to just maybe alter is focus, because it's more about letting go and receiving.
Yeah. Opening awareness.
Because when you're focusing on something, you're in your mind.
Yeah.
So when you're open and expansive with that intention, you're in your heart. And that's a whole different experience. So yes, I'm ADHD
Big time.
like holy hell. So yeah. And so I understand I have methods and I have coping mechanisms that are healthy for me to stop, pause, count, kind of like the things you were saying. But when I'm wanting to have a deeper healing or awareness, or just to feel the natural parts of who we are, which is love and kindness and beauty and creativity, because it's always there. We just get distracted and busy and worried
All the
and stressed.
filters. I love that you use that. All
Yeah.
the filters.
Yeah. Everybody's the narrative,
And it buzzes around our head like a bee in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
And to slow that thing down, whoa, easy, Wes. Slow that thing down takes effort.
Mm-hmm.
It takes
intention,
correct. And, again, cannabis can be a way to draw yourself out of all those stresses and to, place yourself in a position to where you're capable, I think, of looking inward, right? And that really is, at the end of the day, something that we all need to grow from and to become better people, is to investigate our own selves, which is, for most people, the hardest thing to do is to look at their own issues, man. It's not easy. And that's why most people medicate with alcohol or anything else to get them outside of their skin, because there's just too much on the inside. And the way to do that is to peel those layers away, is to be real with yourself. Look inside your heart, like you said earlier. That's where all the answers are. And it's much easier to do with meditation, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think also too with the much needed awareness of mental health now, which is finally being spoken about and not something to be ashamed of. It's something that we can embrace and use different methods of meditation and yoga in certain ways. But I also don't knock medication, because if it's used properly, then that also adds value to some people's lives that need it. Mm-hmm. And we can view that as a medication from a doctor, or seeing cannabis as also seen as a medication for the heart.
about a month ago, we did a show on kratom, also other plant medicines and holistic, just everything, holistic health. I lost my train there.
Entheogenic medicine, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Somebody hit some green rush.
Apparently.
All right, Melanie, now it's time for you to play Awkward.
Oh,
All right.
this is so uncomfortable.
Sounds right up my alley.
Yeah. This is going to be a good one. Ready? Okay. Just whatever you do, just, try to act normal.
Yeah, just try.
Okay? Uh-oh. She's like,
I'm already fucking imploding.
she's like, anytime today or just now?
By the way, what does normal look like?
Yeah.
Can somebody tell me?
Number 1. What if I told you that Stashley and I hooked up?
The HR Leaf Life Fairy.
Yeah, Mary, your
This is
HR.
more
What do you
like
think about
this.
that?
I say good for you guys.
Hypothetical.
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. What happened if you did?
That'd be awkward.
Ricker, this is really
no, it wouldn't
fucking
be awkward. I think it might be awkward for you two to maybe
Yeah.
work together later.
Yeah.
But
It's
wouldn't
never
be
happened.
awkward for me.
It's just
The
a game.
whole-
Just a game.
I love it.
All right, here we go.
You guys
I don't
got
think
me
we need to
baked,
get,
and I'm like, what the fuck? I need some
Sigmund
Cheetos.
Freud on this. Yeah.
Awkward.
Focus on a singularity. Cheesy
Number 2.
Cheetos.
What if I told you that Stashley thinks that meditation is for people who don't have time for the Family Feud?
Like the talk show Family Feud?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Perfect answer.
yeah.
Her favorite show.
Awkward.
Awkward, for sure.
Ricker, that's awkward.
It is awkward.
Yeah, that's just
But I'm so not. I'm proud.
And I think the only one who's weirded out is Wes, actually.
It's my job.
right.
And number 3, Stashley would like to borrow $1,000. Is that cool?
No, that's fucking awkward.
I don't even know you.
I just met you. I'm sorry, I didn't know your name a second ago. So no. Awkward.
Would you like to buy this NFT? I know.
Melanie Macaulay,
$1,000.
where can we find you on social media?
Oh God, my least
Here we
favorite
go.
thing in the world. Melanie Macaulay on Instagram. My website is Melanie Macaulay.
And your podcast.
And my podcast, yes. My podcast I launched last April, and it was right after I had COVID. And I had a spiritual experience with COVID. And I call it my COVID bonus because I was so inspired with life afterwards that I decided to stop being afraid and start telling my story to help others believe that transformation is possible. Because if it's fucking possible for me, it's possible for anyone.
Possible for you too, Wes.
So if
Look
you
at
want to
that.
know more, this is my podcast
thanks,
because I
Ricker.
spill my guts for the first time, and it's liberating. And the feedback I've had is overwhelming at times with the confirmation that we shouldn't be afraid to put ourselves out there because we all have something unique to offer. You know, there's no two of anybody. So our stories, our experiences, our challenges, you know, all of that is so important to share. And so that's really why I do what I do.
And where can we find it?
MelanieMacaulay.com.
Perfect. And
That's awesome.
MCC Macaulay.
Yeah, 2 C's, 2 L's.
Thank you so much for being on the Leaf Life podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Wes, next week, Cannabis Games.
Oh,
Boy.
these dice are hot.
Download this and all Leaf Life episodes at leafmagazines.com. You can listen to all Leaf Life podcast shows on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, and have you found us on YouTube yet? Just look up Leaf Life Podcast V2. Now here comes another episode of Stony Baloney, which is also available at leafmagazines.com. And please be kind to animals.
Your hosts for Leaf Life are Mike Ricker and Wes Abney. Leaf Life is produced by Mike Daly. Some of the music heard is provided by purple-planet.com. Every bit of cannabis you use is female, so please respect the ladies.
Leaf Life is brought to you by Leaf Nation, featuring Alaska Leaf, Oregon Leaf, Northwest Leaf, Northeast Leaf, Maryland Leaf, and California Leaf. On the shelf now in your local retailer.
Please stay tuned now for this week's edition of Stony Baloney by Mike Ricker.
by Mike Ricker.
Cursing is liberating. When venom is coursing through your embroiled veins, it feels good to let out an exultant fuck. In fact, you would be hard-pressed to find any single word in the English language so versatile. Call us unrefined, but when you have such an effective expression that is so interchangeable simply by the tone and cadence with which it is spit, why reach into that bag of expletives for anything else? With fuck as the signature example, swear words can be some of the most impactful of all expressions. The exemplary embodiment of absolute emotion. They are the sprinkles to your sentences, the punctuation to your pronouns, the gravy on your mashed potatoes. And when you study how we might have arrived at this era of artful articulation, it seems plausible that this breakthrough gained momentum when the 1940s war children came of age a decade later. After having their mouths washed out with soap enough times in the cookie-cutter order of row housing, they grew weary of the conservative austerity it took to defeat the Nazis, ready to adopt their rock and roll identity, ripe for a cultural rebellion, and rightfully accentuated by bad words in back alleys with cuffed jeans and cigarette-fueled observations. If you think about it, language is a peculiar vehicle for communicating. And since the advent of our grunts towards a more competent connection, shunned words have had a place on the periphery of the dictionary. And when it comes to the word fuck, why would you insulate the most foolproof remark that pinpoints your fiery feelings when it specifically flavors your fervor? Doesn't it feel liberating to let it out? Just like a giant, breathy bong toke.
Stony Baloney. Some of the wardrobe, including Ricker Wes's sick lids, is provided by Grassroots California. Check out the dopeness at grassrootscalifornia.com.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming. Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug. There may be health risks associated with consumption of this product. For use by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children.